All right, good afternoon, traders. Thanks for joining, taking your time and check out this week's live trading webinar. Right off the bat, as always, quick test of audio and visual. If you can hear my voice and see this opening slide, go ahead and type a Y in the chat box for me real quick. All right, thank you. Looks like we're coming through loud and clear. And be sure to use that chat to ask any questions throughout the webinar, and we will get to those mainly after the presentation. Now, most of you should be familiar with my voice by now, but for any first-time viewers or J Auto Trading Strategy members, my name is Ty. I'm coming at you guys from Charlotte, North Carolina. I handle the business development here at Shark Indicators. I've been doing this for several years now, and we as a company have been involved in the NinjaTrader ecosystem since 2011. So on that note, before I pass it off, let's take a quick look at the risk disclosure. Take a minute and look this over. Futures, foreign currency, and options trading contains substantial risk and is not for every investor. And just to answer the question that I'm sure is coming, this live webinar is being recorded. So just look for an email from Ty at Shark Indicators, and I'll get it out to you guys by tomorrow morning at the latest. So a lot of the people here should already be familiar with Julie Wade and J Auto Trading Strategies. And for those of you who are not, I'll have Julie introduce herself here shortly, and she'll get right into today's presentation. So at this point, Julie, I'm going to promote you to presenter so you can introduce yourself to some of the Shark audience here, and then you can get right into it.
Thank you so much, Ty. Let me see if I can get my screen up and running and see if y'all are seeing my screen. Very good. Thank you. I see a lot of my members here. Thank you so much for coming, guys. I think you're going to be so excited with what we're going to be looking at today. It's totally new, and I think it is perfect for the environment that we're trading with volatility. So we're going to have a good time getting used to the indicators and templates, and it is certainly built and created with the method of volatility in mind. And we are going to become intimately familiar with ranges and ATR because that is the best way to identify the boundaries and recognize potential entries and exits when trading volatility, I'm sorry, trading probability, um, definitely probability with these boundaries in mind. Um, Here is a screenshot from this morning. Crude fell out first on the extra supply that hit the market after that EIA report. And this is very demonstrative of the new strategy. I have taken a lot of time to develop some ideas regarding linear regression for the last few months, as the members in my room can tell you. And the one thing with linear regression that you probably are familiar with, that it's not normalized. So I put some boundaries around it. I put some volatility envelopes around the linear regression and created an indicator that the plots are exposed. So you will be able to go in and create your own signals also. I'll give you templates. We'll have strategies to trade it. Um, and then you can also have the plots exposed for the indicator and be able to build your own systems and signals from it, um, which I think is, going to be so helpful for all of us as we learn to start using it and start focusing in on these ranges. And as volatility, comes into the market, um, the heads up of what support resistance and will get into our way. So we'll get into all of this in just a little bit. The main look of the indicator, as the guys in the trade room can tell you, is this without the mountain on it, but it's the same concept. And I've bounded this slower linear regression line. Let me get the marker out if I can find the pen, the drawing tools menu here, and get the highlighter. So you can create your own boundaries using the ATR that the market is currently displaying, and we have the market analyzer that has our ATR on it. And our mode or our median regression line is this slow line that this envelope is surrounding up and down. And this will help provide a range for us taking these trades. And let me see if I can get the drawing markers off the screen now that I've got them on. There it goes. And measure what the distance is that we want to trade to. So in addition to being able to set these ATR levels along the way for the bounces up and down, we can have an idea generally compared to what our 1 day, 5 day, 14 day ATR has been for that market about where we're going for an opportunity or a trade setup. So we'll get into more of that as we get going in the presentation today. I appreciate all of you taking the time to come out and look at this. I'm so excited to be part of NinjaTrader's excellent platform with NinjaTrader 8. It is just fantastic. We have so much tools available for us: market profile, volume profile, the volumetric bars, the cumulative delta, everything that they're giving to us to help our trading. Shark indicators, likewise, have done a phenomenal job getting their platform converted over to this new NinjaTrader platform. And as we go through this conversion process, we appreciate your patience. It was a Herculean effort on everyone over at Shark Indicators getting the platform up and running. So I'm looking forward to getting my members their templates next week, starting next week going forward, and getting everyone on board with the new NT8 platform. Um, you have looked at the risk disclosure and do know that futures trading does contain substantial risk, and that we should only use risk capital for trading, and past performance is not indicative at all of future results. Likewise, this hypothetical performance disclaimer just means that the charts that I show you were of market activity that occurred previously. I did not go back in time and take snapshots of perfect market activity to demonstrate a tool or something. I took, like pretty current stuff like today, this morning, and yesterday for my screenshot. So, but still, this does not in any manner mean that this will happen tomorrow. So just be aware of that. Also, I'm celebrating our birthday, the company, 3 years with NinjaTrader and Shark Indicators. Woo! I've got 3 candles on the cake now. I'm looking forward to going into the year 4 on this fantastic platform. So I'm so happy. I think that we have an entire year to explore this trading strategy and the indicator, and have plenty of work to do this next year. So this is going to be our linear regression range trading volatility year, because definitely volatility is back in the markets. So this is what we're going to try to cover today. We're going to talk about that market type and how the market structure has changed, and the strategies that we're going to be working on going forward this next year. Look at some of the templates that I've prepared to help you as starter templates for your BloodHound, and how I use these customized BloodHound templates in the market analyzer that help us so much identify what kind of day are we going into. Whenever I make a mistake trading, and I make a ton of them, it's because I've deviated from my system. I'm not paying attention to what the market analyzer is telling me, because usually if I pay attention to what the market analyzer is telling me, I won't make those mistakes. So just having these tools in front of us with the Bloodhound customization is such a plus. Um, and so the new higher time frame trend momentum linear regression component with the volatility envelope with this new indicator is going to complete, I think, my trading strategy. I don't think I'm really going to need anything unless the market structure changes again, and then we would have to adapt at that time. But this is set up perfectly for the volatile market that we're in, and as well as the directionalist drift market conditions for ranging. Um, I think we're covered on both fronts. So we're going to look at some setups and entries, that ATR stop and reverse, momentum inflections, and event trading that will get us to where we want to go, and then look at our daily profit target goals and our stop losses and just see how we can stay out of danger and look at a special offer at the end. So please be sure and stick around. Um, and as I briefly mentioned, volatility is back. Now, these numbers are not published anywhere. If you're wondering where I got these, it's just my empirical experience this year trading, that the market seems to be extremely volatile this year. And otherwise, it's like flat directionalist, meaning ranging. And about 10% of the time, we'll get a nice trend where we can use our trending um, methodology to trail, outside of a prior day high, or low, and try to close the end of the day on that top tick. But otherwise, our goal this year will be know our numbers. What is that ATR? Um, use these channels that I have set up, these volatility channels around my linear regression, and know to change, to trade um, a, a number of ATR away, up or down below these linear regression lines that provide the basis for my median or my mean line of what that main trend is going to be. Um, so forget the MACD. Um, have the super trend trail strategy available just in case we need to pull it out once every quarter or something like that. But otherwise, prepare to range trade. And that range trading goes for volatility as well as directionless markets. And so that's what I am gearing up to do and bring us into that next level. Here is the market analyzer, and this is my hub, my central blueprint of how I address the markets. It's like addressing the golf shot, or, how are you going to approach a market? And just because a market is ranging doesn't mean it's not going to have a bullish or bearish bias. That is so important. So when I say things like a trending market, I'm talking about small intraday trends. I'm not talking about, well, like cotton got wiped out. So that might be a longer term trend. um, or if nat gas keeps going up, that might be a longer term trend, something that you would swing trade on a higher term basis. But otherwise, for our purposes, we're going to stay in the mini world of intraday trading and know what our ranges are for on a 15-minute chart. That's what this middle column is. Let me get my highlighter back out. I feel like an expert now. I know where this is. This is my favorite thing to do. So know if it's going in or out of that 15-minute range. Know if I'm going above or below my prior high or low. I know what my overall higher time frame trend is doing, and I actually put an amalgamation of this over here on the left to give me a snapshot if I want to look to the left and just sort it. I can sort on any of these columns. So I can sort for any column that's already broken out of its prior high or prior low, or it's already broken out of that 15-minute range. Here are my linear regression. So I've got them set up to show me on a 3-minute, 15-minute, or 60-minute chart the way I've set linear regression up to tell me, like right now, you can see that gold was long, but was in a current pullback. So that would be a place that you would be wanting to look for those lower channels to find an entry if you weren't already stretched. at the ATR, and this was this morning when I took the snapshot. I don't have one from this afternoon, but gold is one market that certainly can break its range. I learned that the hard way. It hasn't been ranging a lot this year, but I think it will start picking up, especially after today's report, today's hawkish um, Fed announcement that they're going to wreck our economy. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I'm still on the fence about, why they would want to stump this growth, but definitely looking for a higher dollar story, right? So we could, trade these things as the events come up and put them into our market analyzer and be able to make actionable trade plans and trading decisions from this. But I love the market analyzer. I love the way we've got it set up. The momentum is wonderful. We lean on this so much. I want the 3, 15, and 60 all in one direction if I can have it. But absolutely at the minimum, I want that 3 to be there before I kick off a trade. And I absolutely want that 15 to be on my side too. So when it's split up like this, it's going to be choppy. And that means directionless. So find just an easier market to trade if you can. If you have to trade it, then you know be careful that it doesn't go further directionless. The zeros mean that there's nothing, there's no signal, and sometimes that will tell you a lot whether to stay in or out of a market. It's not ready to be traded. Zero on the range and zeros on momentum. It's just like next. So the market analyzer is fantastic. I can't, tell you how much we rely on it. And again, if I make a mistake, it's because I'm not looking at this. I'm thinking I'm smarter than the average bear, and I always get into trouble, right? Because I'll think, well, I'm going to jump in and just take this, and I always get, when I get into trouble, that's because I've done that. Um, Here is my indicator, the first panel of it, the properties. I've customized it so if you don't want to see the red coloring in the cloud, you can take off the fill area. Um, you don't have to use that. It can just be standard chart underneath it. You won't see that color. Also, likewise, you don't have to show the linear regression lines. That's the slow line. That's your main trend line. Here's your faster line. And I can guarantee you it's best not to trade against that slope. In fact, I've got the template, the LRT template is already set up for you so that you don't have to worry about it. There's a setting on there that won't trade against that slope. But we'll wait for price to come around and start sloping back with the main direction of that regression line. If the regression line, of course, is sloping down, we want a bias short. So I'm looking for momentum inflections short, and I'm looking for body candle closes short. And this is a minute indicator. Linear regression, is a time and based on the close of the bar and time. So I do put it on my volatility bars, but um, it's really based. It should be used on a minute bar to get the best results from it. But as far as this panel is concerned, everything in here, all of the channel lines are customizable, and you can put any number you want. If you want a 3 and a 5 and just don't want the other 3 channels, just put a 0 on it, the 0, 0, 0, and you won't even get those 3 lines. They'll be gone, and you'll only have 2 channels. If you don't want any channels, just put 0, 0, 0, 0. And or there's a button that says don't put channels, but I forget. Did I put a button on that? But yeah. Um, and there's a fast channel. So that's the slow channel. And I also give you a second channel for the fast channel. And there you can see that you're in a flag, right? There's your flag. So this is like seeing inside those flags really good. And it's a cheat sheet. So here's your flag, and when you break the flag, you're good to go. So if you don't want that fast channel, you can take it off. You don't have to show the channel. Um, so it's totally customizable, and I think that you'll enjoy having that. Also, colors. If you'd like to change the colors or do anything with the lines, make them look different, everything you can have total control of how it looks on your chart. So that's pretty cool. Here is the template. I've expanded the LRT bands template to give you some more combinations. So I've combined, I've got the LRT 1, 2, 3, 4 and all, but now I'm giving you more options like choosing the 4 and 1 together. This is LRT mom slope. So as you can see, it's going with the trend, but it did not give you any long signals here because it's got that mom in it and the mom's going down. So I've got some magic in there for you, and otherwise, wait for your cloud crosses to get short. So like if you see this short setting up and it's going short in a white cloud, something that I generally don't like to trade, um, all I have to do is wait for that band to cross and then get set up. That first pullback to the band after a cross is usually your sweetheart trade. That's the sweet spot. And I love that first bar after that. This one didn't give me very far to go because the lower band was right there, and that's sort of worrisome. So look at this. Check this out. So you got your sweetheart trade, but you only had just like a tiny bit of room to go. And so it gets down there, and where does it go? It pulls back to this top band of the fast channel. I don't know if you can see that, but it's, you know, these algos are certainly in tune with my channel lines. And if I put a channel on a chart and I see that they're not matching, because that's what we want to do is we want to sell these top bands and buy the bottom bands. If they're not matching, I can just change the number. I can make it 2468 or 3579. I don't have to stay with the 123 or the whatever I've got it. I think I've got it on 1535, but 1.53 and 5. But you can just get a visualization of what the prior history has done with you can fit. This is the time that you want to curve fit is what I'm trying to say. Definitely curve fit your bands from past history, and that should carry you forward going into the future. So here is the ATR stop and reverse strategy, again on a daily bar. This is crude on a daily, and this is just phenomenal. Let me get a pen instead of that highlighter. This shows us that we are coming down to this bottom band. So this is where it's going. It's like, where do I go? I've got volatility in the market, but how far do I take it to? Now we know. Here's your support resistance, but probably good probability that it's going to stop there, bounce back, pick up your linear regression, and then go down, right? And here is the magic. Wicks on these levels on a daily bar. Try to wait for these bar closes. It's the hardest thing to do. And when I get into trouble, it's like I try to jump the gun, thinking I'm, smarter than the average bear or something, and I'll get in too early. I won't wait for my bar close. So wait for your bar to close, and then even better to wait for a doji. close on that bar, but this one was a, you'll get to recognize your reversal bar. That was a reversal, but um, the key to this is my momentum. I wait for my momentum inflections, and that will definitely keep you on the right side of that trade. Um, and you can see how flat this market is. So if it breaks through this first level, it's going to go to 66. So it's wonderful for visualization. It's like, you know, where am I going, and what time do we leave, and, how far do we have to go? So we know where we're trading to, and we're doing what the algos do now. We're trading these bands, and there's your trend channel, right? And wait for your trend channel to break, and then it, whatever it does. But this was kind of flat going in there. That daily, definitely a range trade on that crude. Okay. Here is a chart that shows you how to trade that market analyzer. This has got the higher time frame trend on it, and that's all that this solver does. I'm just giving you what that higher time frame trend looks like. This is 60-minute chart, and I've got the 15-minute and 60-minute trend that's on my market analyzer. So definitely wait if you can get a bias for a higher time frame trend, and you see, for instance, that you're breaking up here, you're breaking support resistance on a band, you've got a reversal bar, breaking a band, and whoosh, it started the down descent. And that one didn't take long at all, did it? But we want to be waiting for these breakouts and trading band to band whenever possible on these 60-minute and 15-minute bars. And with the higher time frame trend is the point. So even though I've got higher time frame trend, I'm not talking about marrying the damn thing. I'm just saying we want to get a short bias, right? Okay. And here is the higher time frame trend, momentum, and linear regression on my market analyzer. And I've got the session template set up from 8:30 in the morning to 10:30 in the morning, and that's it. I don't have any of the other daylight in it, so that's why you look, and the days are all fast because I've only got 2 hours on there. But this is available on the market analyzer, and I just want to show you the power of using the market analyzer. It's because it works. When you put the momentum, the higher time frame trend, and momentum or linear regression together, this is exactly we want to stay with this directional bias for as long as possible. And now we know where and how to trade it. Of course, this obviously went way out of the area, and that's the one thing about volatility that we all know, that when financial markets are volatile, prices tend to overshoot or undershoot their fair value. So when they start breaking those upper and lower boundaries strongly with a big bear bar or a big bull bar, that's when you want to start putting the pedal to the metal and riding your slope of your fast line as long as you can. So here's that fast line. You just want to stay with that trade for as long as possible. And here, where's your range to get in and out of that? It's right here on your chart. So you're trying to get in anywhere in there with as much oomph as possible. So whenever we can identify these opportunities, is what we're looking for. Big bear bar leaving, jump on it. So NinjaTrader makes it very easy to customize your time series, and I recommend that y'all try doing that. I mean, we trade what, 8:30 to 10:30, and that's it. And we're pretty much done. So get used to looking at your chart that way. Don't use the whole RTH session. Okay. Today, the Federal Reserve, like I said, is trying to blow up the economy, and I don't know why they're trying to blow up the growth. It's just too much too fast, I think, and I'm not sure what the market's going to do. But the ES dropped 18 points in what, 30 minutes, and that was 2/3 of the range. So anytime you see that, you know that, the market does not like it. And at least, they blew up gold, the E-mini, all the markets went down on that announcement. Now they stabilized some, but still, I just don't understand why they would sit there and say that we're going to push this beyond 3%. Don't get me started. Events. This is what we trade and what we, we're looking for. Trade the inflation. Here was this morning's British pound got its first whiff of PPI, and look at the pound. It just took off this morning, right? So watch your calendar, watch these news events, make sure, we know what to trade, and then where are we going? Are we getting some, you know, bull bars closing and breaking these bands? Go with it. So I don't have the linear regression on here. This is an example if I took the linear regression lines off, but um, definitely, that line would have been white and it would have been going up. So stay with your trend. You've got your momentum above zero, inflecting up, and look how many bars. I mean, it just stayed up. So that at this time it was from 8:30 really to 9:15, which is like an eternity for short-term trading. Um, you can make a ton of money in that, just knowing what you're looking at and knowing what the indicator did for you as far as, this is what you're buying. So, oops. Okay, here is my high low 2. And again, this is just a way to turn the volatility bar around. And I don't show the linear regression itself, the line. I put the fill, the cloud in it a little bit because it actually gives some pretty good, trade opportunities. But these volatility bands are going to be wonderful, and I'm going to start coding the volatility bands on the high-low 2. I'm going to call it the high-low 3. And instead of the EMAs, I'm going to start doing the volatility channel triggers on this, and how we determine what bar size to make for our tick bar or Rinko will be based upon probably a 15-minute ATR, right? And that'll help determine what size our bar actually should be. In this market, in the NASDAQ, it was 50 points. So 50 points would have carried you really for the past day or so in this market. It got a little bit higher a couple of days earlier, but pretty much if you kept a 50-point range in mind, the target, of course, is not carrying 50 points. The target is trading split your risk. And even better if you can just, take a chunk out of split that into two also. So the goal is to wait for these pullbacks and then get in on these bands so that you're not carrying 50 points of risk, that you can get, keep it at your 20 points or something. And so we have a lot of fun trading this indicator, and we'll look forward to adopting it to the volatility channel lines. I think it'll be a lot of fun using this. And again, ATR is the key. getting the feel for how the ATR is working in that 8:30 to 10:30 range for the past however many days you want to run your study from. We've already seen this template. I've got other templates that I coded when I first started this that are still pretty good templates, and I'm just showing the linear regression on top of them. But this core super trend from the direction guide template is a great logic template, as is the RTH settings for this template. I've got it set up for equities, bonds, currencies, agriculture, and already set up for RTH settings with the core super trend momentum directional filters for you. So really helps you, same thing, getting you on the right side of the trade. Linear regression is not in this template. I just put the bands on top of it, the existing template as a graphical visualization. Same thing for my high-low template. This is a volatility bar, Uniringo, not a candle. So I don't really recommend putting these linear regressions and bands on the volatility bar, but in this instance, it worked pretty good, and goes ahead and shows you that it walked that band, um, irregardless that there was no really time series or close in a volatility bar, but still pretty, respectful of that range. And this was, again, like I'm saying, all of these were from today or yesterday that when I was preparing my screenshots for the webinar. So again, this is that same crude with the high-low 2 template. This template for the high-low 2, the original high-low 2, I had some 3-minute linear regression on it with some other indicators for NQ, getting us to our 20 um, point range that we, want to keep in mind in the back of our mind because that, keeping it real for our budgets, trading in and out of it. So there's some other filters and things in here that are helpful just to navigate around this template. But the goal really is to understand where you are compared to this higher time frame. And this is a higher time frame trend filter, not the linear regression line. And if you get too far away from it, that's your reversion to the mean trade that the equity indexes are likely to take. So you're trying to navigate this down here without getting caught trying to hold going all the way back to that trend filter or a reversal. So um, take your stops if you trade this template because it can turn around on you very quickly. Um, Very fast template, but very fun to trade. This is the Saint Mom template. This is on the market analyzer, the MACD. I've got the market analyzer broken out in various combinations on this chart template set up for bar close true. And as you can see, all these screenshots look pretty similar, and that's because I'm using pretty much the same components throughout these templates, and that is trend, momentum, and other settings like prior close, 15-minute range, prior day high low, just standard, trading indicators. So, but how they adapt so well to the markets and that momentum super trend mom um, is a fantastic trading methodology all on its own. So if you can wait and try to adapt your trading to the Saint Mom, I think you would be in a very good position. The Bollinger Bands template, here's a expansion of that 15-minute range. And I'm got some other things. The Bollinger Bands template is not something I really go to every day because I'm focusing in on those other volatility bands. But I do have this available if you like trading with a Bollinger Band. So profits or stops, I mean, this is where the magic comes in. The first thing that I would just recommend that we all keep in the back of our mind that don't overtrade, don't get cocky, don't think that we, just because we have the bands going on and we get a reversal candle that we're, and you start nailing them, that, we've got it down or something, because the market can turn around and smack us in the back of our heads. That it's happened to me several times. Stick to your trading method. That's another area that I get in trouble. I'll see an opportunity or something or trade a market that I'm not familiar with, and go outside my wheelhouse, which is momentum, trend, and linear regression, and I'll try something else, and it always will get me in trouble. So stick to your method. That is the number one thing in risk control, and trade a consistent risk amount. So as you go forward with developing your own indicators and strategies, try to keep that, 1.5 to, 1 or 2 to 1 risk to reward, and keep it consistent so that you can learn what's working and learn how to then grow your account from that. But you have to keep it consistent. Um, and the most important part of this also is how much effort you put into it. Just don't think because you have an indicator or strategy that you can just sit back and turn the money tree on. It takes work to learn how to trade and understand these markets. So it's how much effort you put into it. I don't think that means sitting on Twitter and tweeting out every time you see, a bar change or something, but, review your charts, read the financial um, indicators as far as the economic indicators. When it tells you that the JOLTS reports coming out, what does that mean? How is it going to impact inflation going forward? What are the other impacts that these economic indicators make on a market? Where are those opportunities going to come? So, I mean, that's like, our main hub is understanding what's on that economic calendar. It's so important that it is on my website. I recommend that you become intimately familiar with, these reports and what's on the calendar ahead, for the entire week or month. When does that GDP print come out? We're in earnings right now. How is that impacting the market? What are those guidance numbers looking like that everybody was so afraid of? Um, Today the FOMC minutes came out. So know when your opportunities are, look for these big stars. But like I said, JOLTS was a a one low volatility, one star opportunity, and it can rock the market. So just be aware of challenge your job cuts. That's another one, that can just take the market off if it goes outside of its norm. Um, so know your economic calendar for sure. That's the number one thing that you have to understand, and the effort that you put into yourself of learning what all of this is about and how to make money in the market. Set your profit goals. This is something that you should think about every week. Um, am I working to that weekly goal or monthly goal? How am I doing? And even if you're not meeting it, at least, make a note of it. Review your charts, review your trades. I'm not a journaling girl. I don't sit there and write, dear diary, saw the euro go up and I did X, Y, or Z. I don't do any of that. But if you want to journal, if that helps you with your method or your process, do it. Whatever it takes to help you get there, do it. But do set a small goal and learn to hit it, and then go to a bigger lot size, but keep within the same methodology. Don't change it. Find something that you are comfortable with, and don't try to, change into every um, different mode, like something happens and you go outside of your wheelhouse, because that's when the mistakes will happen. Stay with what you're working on, and see if you can make your boat float. And I don't know how we're doing on time. It's 4:16. I'd like to go through a few charts and get to some Q&A. We are going to have a special bundle price for this. Again, if you aren't familiar with Blackbird and or BloodHound, this is a good time to pick it up because it is on sale. My template package, likewise, if you are already a BloodHound and or Blackbird user and you would like to get the package, you can go to the website. I've also got that on a little bit of a discount for just a couple of days through the 21st. We are having a open house Thursday and Friday. So if you would like to register for the open house, just send us an email at support@JATS Trading Strategies, and we'll sign you up for the open house. And so you can see these templates traded in the live market. And I think here's some contact information for me. Support@JATS Trading Strategies. Just send us an email if you'd like to register for that open house, and we'll get you set up. Ty, is there any questions that you've got going there? If I can find the dashboard, I'll look to see if I can see them. Here's a couple I can see. It's kind of squished. See if I can undock this and see it.
Yeah, there should be an undock option right next to the
Okay.
X.
Okay, good. How does the AUD look for tonight? Chris has left. I don't know, Chris. So, I don't know. But here is the crude market from earlier today. And again, I'm so excited to have these volatility envelopes on here. I've got to tell you that just knowing where price is subject to, to reaching into, and then using that as the area to lean on, looking for that reversal opportunity using the volumetric bars or some other method, waiting for some heat to come in, or just waiting for a bar close and get in. Um, it just trading these bands are going to be wonderful. Here was a great flag that's set up and a continuation. And so here is the default template again, on an intraday level for NQ. And you can see that the market responds very well to these lower bands, goes to the upper band, goes back to the middle. I mean, here was like a very perfect representation of just this channel trading concept. Can go back in time and show you how well that they respond to these bands. Gets outside the band, and that's when you want to be able to trade back to your middle. Here was a cross of the regression channel indicating that where are you going to go? You're going to go to that bottom band. Here's another cross, and tried to get up there, but then it turned around, didn't make it all the way up. But just having the linear regression indicator and the bands on the monitor, so very helpful, especially as the market can get, here was that big up move we had earlier in the week. Let's look at some other. Here's a higher time frame trend. That was some of the market analyzer things I was putting together to show you what that higher time frame trend looks like with some of the momentum and linear regression um, on the chart, what that looked like, putting these things together. And so the ideal situation to trade would be, to trade with it and not against it. Here's the 8:30 to 10:30 chart lookout, and you can see how fantastic just having a template set up to trade the 2 hours that you're going to be trading, how helpful that is, and how this linear regression line actually is very, very much where these algos are tuned into as far as your trend line, your mean or median channel. As you can see, the market very much respects that level as the trend channel level, as you can see clearly. I mean, I'm not, you can't make this stuff up. It's why it's on my chart. Here's that fast line. This was this morning. Fast line showing that the trend was going to go up. Again, this was that ATR stop and reverse from the crude that took off. Give it a second. Look at this. Here's that MACD St. Mom that was on the chart. Again, that St. Mom indicator, that solver is just fantastic. This is what you want to trade with. And that's your momentum. I mean, if you don't have anything else to take in trading, make sure you pay attention to your momentum. Here's that mountain view for the ES, and you can tell that it absolutely respects these levels. And this is where you want to be, trading a market like the ES for sure, and trading these bands. And this is what I'll be developing going forward. Will be band to band trading, ranging these bands for a strategy. Here's that crude again, and that's it. And there's your blank chart, what you normally would be looking at. So very much do not want to trade that. I absolutely would rather have it look like this so that I can get a actionable trade signal off of it. Okay, for my special price, it's 10%, I think. Let me take a look at the website. There is a right here, open house special offer. Yeah, 10%. So you get a little bit of a savings. And that would be valid from today through Sunday. So y'all can come to the website, look around. That's that high-low one template that's so popular. And there's your super trend. So when the band starts, leaning on that super trend, I've already got that coded for your high-low one. Here's your LRT template. See how nicely it moves on that cloud. This will be on your new LRT solver. I've got one coded for that cloud change already in there for you. So all the, a lot of these templates are already coded for you as, starter templates. But, what I'm so excited about doing for you guys is giving you that indicator with the plots exposed so that you can go in and start, creating your own strategies, trading these bands, and then setting the bands to the ATR levels yourself. And we'll go through and show you how super simple it is to get a reversal on these bands and Bloodhound. I mean, just snap your fingers. Super silly simple, and show you how to, we can just start taking our profit targets and stop losses from these volatility band levels. Let's see. Do I use these templates to automate trading in Blackbird? My templates are pretty much direction guide templates before giving you the direction that you should be trading. As you can see, I spent most of my time trying to help you with direction so that you could go in to Blackbird and code your own entries and exits, because I don't know what your risk parameters are or what your goals are. But certainly any of these signals is an actionable trade signal that you can use in Raven or Blackbird on their own. Or once you see that you've got a 15-minute matching a 60-minute, then you can go down to a lower time frame. For instance, if you want to trade the volumetric bars and use that for a signal, or just set up your own um, methodology in Blackbird, you can do so on a smaller time frame, or trade the 15-minute bar, the 60-minute bar, and set it up for Wix or something. I'd like to certainly explore all of the systems. I mean, there's a Hikaki, I don't know how to pronounce it right, pattern that I'll be looking at, and that's the inside bar after a wick. Like right here is that Hikaki, and they're all over the place. But you get a wick on your band, and you get that inside bar after the wick, and it goes back to the mean. I mean, these trades, you know, and then where do we take our profit? Where, ideally, and if we can get past, trading the channels bands, take it back to the main LR lines. But yeah, I would love to work with you guys, and that's something also on our forum with Bloodhound, you know, trading, exchanging tips for Blackbird and things like that. Um, I'm not really big into trailing as much, or I don't think that I would want to choke myself out of a trade by trailing a band. I know that we could set it up so that we could trail underneath these levels. For instance, that's something that would be very easy to set up in Blackbird, and we can talk about that absolutely and show you how to do it. It's super simple to set it up. They've got it set up very, very easily that it's like, the interface is very easy to work in um, for you to, put things like that, a trailing scheme in it. But I'm pretty much a trade to a location and take profit targets, and like either trade to a prior day high low, or trade to a pivot point, or trade to a support resistance level, or a location based trading goal, or you know um, 2 to 1, 3 to 1, take your profits, get out, because a lot of it is lather, rinse, repeat. Um, and then wait for your next day and your opportunities instead of over trading. So, but yes, I'd be glad to work with you guys on your Blackbird strategies. But I don't set up your Blackbird. I don't issue you Blackbird strategies per se. But we can certainly chat about them and talk about how you do it, and go through the workshops. Zach spends a huge amount of time giving you all kinds of stuff on strategy development and how to use Blackbird. But that, is something that I'd love to, start doing this next year, is getting into the weeds with Blackbird and um, stuff like that. But any of these signals you can put into Blackbird or Raven and get a trade signal on it. especially these. This is what I'm going to be trying to code myself, getting into the E-mini. This is a 30-second chart, by the way. It's not usually as volatile, as that, but some great trades. Higher time frame charts look like for crude. Let's take a look. Let me minimize this. I don't know what's going on with my platform. I've changed that to the when did that roll over? It's rolling over to the December contract. I thought I've changed it a couple of times. Here, I just didn't get it on the right. This is, we're all getting used to Ninja 8, so it's like a learning curve for all of us. So I thought I'd already changed that. So here is a 15-minute bar, and so you can see that the volatility bands got broken. Big bear bar today. Big break out of that. Let's look at a 60-minute. So this looked good. Came into this. Oops. Wish I could click on these bands individually. Came in to this level and walked to that band, and then tried first test, first try. It looks like it went down but came back up. Tried to do a stop run but held the point. It looks like. Let me get the yeah, it did hold the point. So you had to sit there for a while to get it down. Let me put this on the RTH session. Hang on one second. When this happens, when you change your data series, you need to come in here and put more days in. There. So there's your 60-minute on an RTH. And as you can see, if you just stay in the direction of the fast slope of the fast line of the linear regression, when it matches momentum, even though you were in an uptrending one, your fast slope was down and so was your momentum. And then as soon as you got your cross right here, turn that off. Got your cross. Right there's your cross. And so here's that first pullback after that cross. This is your sweetheart trade. And boom. Where did it go? Right to your band. Love those. 15-minute. So I like to look at the 60-minute and 15-minute. Had a gap down. Did it fill the gap? Wish Michael were in here. He would tell me. Okay, no, it did not fill the gap. Okay. So we still have a gap. Gap line did not fill. So they'll go back and fill that. So know where your gap lines are. So that's between 72.15 and 78.80. So there's your 20.80 right there. There's your gap fill. So when it goes back up, that's where it's going. 72.20 to 80. Yeah, no, absolutely, Gary. Yes, no, I'm giving you the plots for the indicators so you can build your own signals. Absolutely. Why would I give you an indicator without the plots? I mean, that would be dumb. So I took a lot of time to put the indicator together, and here it is. I updated it when I updated it for NT8. So you, and like what I love about it is if you want to take the linear regret, I've got the 2 and 3 on there also, if you want to see all of it, because all of them together, the 1, 2, 3, 4, can make, you know, some great trading opportunities once price gets around it. But you can actually take the linear regression off and just show the fast channel and show the like the cloud or something if you don't want to see the actual lines. But I find the lines are helpful, or you can, I mean, you can configure this many different ways visually. I find the 1 and 4 is almost imperative. I don't have to see the fill. There's that checkbox for the fill. But if you want to change this to a 2, 4 and not show anything here, and you just have the 2 bands, and so that you can, you know, trade your, know when it goes, you know, be aware of, you know, your out of range opportunities. I kind of want the bands on it because I want to know where it's going. But if the 1.53 doesn't work, you know, try a 2, 4 like that, or try a 1, 2, 3, 4, or a 3, 5. You know, go back and look and, you know, experiment with the bands and see where the algos are going. Because once you figure out their ATR, you've got that market. It's like that's when I start getting cocky. It's like, look at that. It's like money, 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 money. All right. Now we know what we're doing, right? Trading those bands. Um, Thank you, Gary. Oops. The 20-minute ZB, sure, Sam. I got to put ZB on my database. Hold on just a second. I don't think I had the bonds in there. Oops, wrong one. See, I'm still getting used to where everything is. And where's my instrument list? Oh, I already have ZB on there. I'm sorry. Let's see, just have to. 20 minutes. Sam is a man after my own heart. He knows exactly the time period he trades. Look at that. They know, those bond traders know exactly where those bands are. Thank you, Sam. Absolutely. Money, 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 money. That's where, you know, this is where we get the volumetric bars. So then you want to pull up your, let me show you. Let me get a new chart. Then you pull up your, oops. Your volumetric chart. Put it on none. Make sure you don't have a template in there. And go down and choose volumetric. Probably 8. Let's start with 8. And you wanted a 20-minute. Okay, maybe I should put that up to a higher number. We'll see. What day was it? 17, 16. So this morning at, what time was that? 7:40. Get that stuff off the think I need to make these bigger. Hold on just a second. Bigger or smaller? I think it would need to be bigger. Yep. There was your reversal, but it did. Let me put this on a 5-minute. Oops. I do that all the time. That was my mistake. You can't change the data there on a volumetric bar. There we go. Put this back up to an 8. I don't like those numbers. I bet ticks per level, maybe a 15. I'll have to play around with the number, but you can change the way it looks with changing that. Here we go. That's a little better. That's better. But it's not as demonstrative. Maybe I should put this down to a 1. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, because I was looking for more data stuff on it. But I'll play with that later. But these bars are fantastic for like here, that's better. This looks more like it. It was a 2. Maybe I should kick it back down to a 1. But anyway, for NQ, you want to keep that up to a 1. So change this market to NQ. Take ZB off. I want to put this back down to an 8. And we'll be putting those volatility bands right on this chart so that when we get our imbalances, like right here, we'll be able to trade those bands. So I'll be using this as an entry chart with this BloodHound templates. So I hope that helps you. But yes, this is where I'll be looking on these bands. I wouldn't necessarily use a 20-minute chart for a touch on the level, but that's what I'll be looking with my volumetric bars to see where that heat comes in on those touches. And that's like where I say I get into trouble because I'll be trying to, sell something too early and I'll get rolled over like a steamroller. But it's always best if you can wait for a bar close. Boy, they made some good money this afternoon after that Fed announcement came out, right? I'm telling you what. 620 tick chart for which market? ZB? Okay. And the linear regression doesn't work as well on a tick chart as it does a candle chart, but it does course, allow you to put it on there. There you go. Does that help? Okay. Yeah, Sam, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm very excited. I think we finally, have something that's actionable, tradable. I mean, you can sit here and I'm sitting here and I'm picking out all my winners. Winner, winner, winner. Where do we go? Because exactly, here's your oops, um, ruler. So there's your close and there's your target. So yeah, easy to spot these, right? You got your little reversal candles and you go, right? Don't ask, you don't have to ask me twice. Get your actionable signal and you take it. But definitely use the market analyzer so that you can stay in the direction. Let me show you what it looks like on the market analyzer. Um, Populate. Yeah, make sure you stay within that bias. Right now, it's not looking like you want to be buying anything. Nope. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys. If there any other questions or charts that I can show you, let me know. Otherwise, I will. We could take a look at gold real quick because that's going to be interesting, um, given the change in interest rate. Well, you don't know what gold will do with that interest rate, but we can see that we're, getting close to that 1218. So it should be looking for a bounce place pretty soon. Going back up, and this is something that, the best part about this linear regression is, it's such a target, the mean line, the median line, trade in that direction. And this is the biggest, red cape to a bull flag that you've got. I mean, as far as a red cape in front of a bull, if you're looking for a target, that's it to trade to if you don't have anything else, long or short. If there's not a day trading target, I usually have a per day high low close on the chart, or pivot point, support resistance lines for my 60-minute, a daily, and always trade the direction of that fast slope whenever possible. If it's in a range, like this is ranging, just, all this is doing is just band ranging. This is a perfect market for this system. It's just band ranges. There's no direction really. So that was just flat slope. Maybe I have the data series still messed up. Yep. I had that ZB on a, let me put it on the interest rate. I had it on metals. Where is the, Here it is. Does that look a little better? It does to me. Get the right session template on it. That looks a little better. That looks a lot better. Put this on your 20-minute. There you go, down channel. This needs some more channel lines. I think I need to put this on 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. There we go. And then to have it changed to a 24/7 template. So, you know, make sure you have the right template. Boy, that somebody made a ton of money trading the ZB today. All right. 3 bands out, revert to the extreme, right? Simple rules for entry and target. Well, you know, depending upon what your ATR is, right? You can have like a standard, you know, if you first you need to know what your ATR is, right? For the day, for the week, and 5 days, 1 day, 5 days, 2 weeks, whatever you want. So 19, 31, 31. Have a goal to trade to, and then know how far your targets are from your bands to your mean, right? So I'm not used to this market, but that's what I would do is I would start measuring uh, how much room do I have to go. Let me get my ruler back on the right side. So what are the outer bands, you know, just so that I understand. What do they normally trade to? It looks like 2 bands out is what it trades to on a normal rotation. 15 up or down, right? So just looking at this, where this gave you nothing, here there's 2. So 2 bands is your first target and stop loss, right? Right there, right? Channel trading, pretty easy. Pretty easy. Okay, yeah, you can change your NinjaTrader to do that. Actually, you know, Sam is telling me ATR is a function of the time frame. You can change it to a 20-minute or a 60-minute period, and so he gets 5 ticks and 20 periods um, in 20 minutes. On a 20 period ATR is about 5 ticks. Okay, and that's why he knows his market. So you can put this on a Unirinko bar, on a 1 tick Unirinko. Let me change the bar type. Oops, I keep going to the wrong thing. I'm sorry. New. Okay. So you can put this on like a 1-2 Unirinco. Well, okay, you said 5. So a 1-4. A 1 and 4 is 5. So there's your 5 ticks. I'll put it on a 5 tick bar. There it is. So that's your bar that you would want to trade. I would, if I knew that my ticks were 5 ticks in 20 minutes, that's my bar. I'd want to put it on a 5 tick bar and wait for my reversals on these bands. And oops. So there you go. Here's another one right there. That one was after, that was an event reversal right here, but that's what you want. And so there's your big money. It's like 31.25 a tick. So 12 plus 12, there's your measured move today. Like I said, they got paid today to trade the bonds. They were like, thank you, committee or FOMC people. But there's no doves on that board. I'm telling you what, those are hawks. Hawky, hawky. We can trade it up or down. We don't care, right? So that's all I have for us. But I would do that knowing my boundaries, 1 and 2 up. That's what I'd be shooting for as a target and just take it off when I got there. Not get greedy, not think it's going to go to number 3 just because I got to number 2. Get to your target, take it off, wait for the next day, right? Hops top are the top predators, hawks. Yes, they are. I can't believe they're going to choke this growth. I mean, we have had 10 years of nothing. I mean, nothing. We finally get a spark. We finally get, don't get me started, the engines of the economy running, and the first thing they want to do is shut it out, shut it off. And talking about moving past 3% too. I'm just like, my hair's on fire. Don't start getting these talking about it. Ah, I'm like, what is wrong with those people? All right. I'm sure they know much more, about it than I do, and they're going to be doing the right thing. So you just got to have trust and faith that they know what they're doing, and I can just trade up and down and not really care because I'm only going from there to there anyway. So what does it matter? Right? All right, guys, y'all have a great day. Come see us in the trade room. Send me the email for the trade room open house and pick up a template and join us. We'd love to have you join the room and we'll figure out these trading strategies together. Thank you, guys. We'll see you soon. Thank you, Ty, so much.
All right, Julie, no problem. And thank you again for presenting today. The new templates look awesome. If you guys have any other questions for Julie, just send those to support@jautotradingstrategies.com. And any questions for us specifically, as always, support@sharkindicators.com. And if you tuned in late, don't worry, I'll send the recording link via email by tomorrow morning. So just look for an email from Ty at Shark Indicators. So thank you again, Julie, and thank you, traders, and you guys have a great rest of your week.